YouTube, we are back at it again. And again, we're going to be using agents in the top 8 where we clapped up within the top 16. Make sure to go back and check out that duel as Agent of Life Neptune is ready alongside Horus and Millennium somehow within the freaking top 16, top 8 even now, as we now have Fictanium with a full hand of hand traps. If I watch as long as you can, that greatly supports the events. Hajime.
There can only be one winner. And you're looking at it. Let's go.
Start this off with a Senjin. We can Ash this, we can Impulse this, and we choose to do neither. We have to be careful with the Impulse and Droll. Ooh, I got double Droll, which plays around the Crossout Designate. And why I say you have to be careful is Impulse turns off the ability for you to use Droll. Double Droll it up. Ain't no way, just like that. If Droll were a trigger effect, this would not be possible. Or actually it still would because of the priority within Master and OCG being different than in TCG. In TCG, it would not be possible. We have Masquerena, then pass. Well, you know, we did get Drolled and we did try to stop it, to be fair. With the Masquerena, we could go into Little Knight double banish. Ash, and we can Impulse the Masquerena, which is going to be quite unfortunate for us. Special summon the backup alongside. This whole play is a normal summon hand trap plus a backup Ignister. 1.5 card combo is what I'd call it. And now we're going to try to Masquerena. Not today. Negates the ability to perform a normal Link summon. The monster you'd summon is not summoned from the effect of special summon. It is just a normal Link summon. We're going to be banishing by cost the Dormouse. You can't Imperm or Veiler this. It is safer than summoning a Little Knight on an open field, that would be, as the Little Knight can get negated, but if there's an opposing monster, you'd be able to chain the Little Knight to dodge it. Splash Mage would also lock you out of from summoning the Apollo USA, thus the Lizard is why this is much worth it. We're going to be grabbing an Underground for the deck. If Mario knows, you know, I know, let's get out of here. And you have to remember, dude's hand, as you see on screen, no play whatsoever, top decked into a single backup Ignister, and then wham bam thank you ma'amdom. Earth, not imperming that. We're going to be using the Sacred Waters to search for the Neptune. Neptune will special summon the Venus. Venus will summon 3 balls unless we imperm negate. Now you summon 0 balls. Is the ball from the hand or deck, or just its hand or deck? Not a Garnet. It is a brick though. We're going to banish the Neptune. Neptune, when banished, will be searching for the Sanctuary in the sky. Let's further synchro into the Master Flare Hyperion, which I believe copies the effect of Venus from the deck. Yes, sirree. We're going to be summoning those balls. You can't stop me. Ball number 1, 2, and 3. First on the 2, we're going to go into the Protector of Agents, Moon. Moon will be dumping from the deck of Majesty Hyperion, which will banish to Reborn. We're going to be activating the Marchair to banish the White Rabbit to set an MTP from the deck, very likely. All right, thank you. Let's speed this up. As we now go into what the... Celestial Night Lord Parshath. As we now activate the field spell, the Parshath will discard a card to search for Arc Lord Christia. No way are we going to floodgate them. We're going to summon another ball from the hand as we further go into a Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel on summon will banish a card on the field, but as we're also chaining the Parshath, Parshath is special summoning a fairy from your hand. Arc Lord Christia is now here. And she very simply states that your opponent and yourself cannot special summon. You need impermanence. If any of you are taking imperm out, boy, what a mistake. Now, the synchros are also unaffected by monster effects. I'm not sure what other forms of disruption we have beyond the Christia preventing them from special summoning. Is this a quick effect in some way? It doesn't look like. It's the Master Flare quick effect. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can banish a fairy from your hand or graveyard, target a card in the field, and banish it. This would not protect the Christia from an impermanence, but floodgate and banish. Okay. Normal, the Chessie. We could have banished this on summon, stopping it from drawing 2, and it would not come back because the Arc Lord Christia. Confidently allowing a draw 2, which maybe gives them access to a card to out the Christia, and of course it doesn't. Well done. I guess what you'd have to do is hopefully draw an Imperm, then swing your Chessie in to open up the field, then Imperm Christia, then make all your plays main phase 2, which... the Chessie would have not been banished yet, right? Banish Chessie with the March Hare, pop off from there. 1 and 1. Let's go. Let's start off with the field spell. Let's just speed this up. 9. 9, and we got a freaking boot in. During your main phase, I'm not reading that. Venus gets non-target banished, so 8 more disruptions to play through. We're just getting started. Senjin, not even on the field, negated. Horus, Seti will then get negated by the Apollo. Let's activate the Sacred Water, searching for the Neptune. Now we're getting crazy. Horus is gonna discard the Butin just to get negated from adding the Sark and also an additional draw. Only 6 more disruptions. Yeah, first turn killed. Very nice. Let's hop into another. Let's go. White Rabbit sends the back row GWC. When do we want to use our Ash? As we link decoder, it's up. We're not going to be able to Ash. This is the full combo to block Ash. If you wanted to Ash the Ransom, not going to happen as we chain link block, and then there will be an Apollo later on within the turn or right now. Let's Wicked. You think that you could Ash the Wicked. You actually can here because we did not. You normally would banish a White Rabbit to then chain link block the Wicked on the higher chain link. This is actually now an ashable effect. Well done. And your probable last chance to Ash, you didn't do it. Okay. Well, you think you'll Ash Chessie, but you won't if they make an Apollo, which they're not locked out of from doing. March did not make Apollo first. Okay, sure. I guess we'll make Apollo after. We, in fact, did it after. Triple tacked, it's look at your hand, and that's the thing. You want to look at what's a very powerful card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just on Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta Genesis, you could see 93 freaking points. Holy moly. It's way better than Maxi. Maxi's only 50 points, called by is 20, so of course we got to play this. Bonfire, Poplar, trigger the Poplar, special summon, activate to search. We're not going to imperm that as we further link off into our Anima. All that for 6, 7 disruptions in a Maxi. Can we play through 7? Chessie tries to come back. Apollo says no. We don't have a simple impermanence. Imperm onto Detonator. Imperm onto Apollo. Where are your imperms? Banish from the deck. Negate. 5 more disruptions left. All right, we still have a normal summon. Here comes the normal. Negate. 4 more disruptions. Can we get the March Hare out? To battle we go. Max C and Ovi. Was that? Are you BMing? You BM'd? We're going to Crimson Tier, Reborn. Okay. Game number 3. Let's start this off. Set 3 pass, ain't no way. Now, why did we Max C in the battle phase before the Apollo died? Well, before Apollo dies, it would have the ability to negate an Ash Blossom onto your Max C. So that's why the great last opportunity, just Max C on the attack, then negate it, then it gets destroyed by battle. Let's keep on going. Wanted Seeker, come to us, Diablo Star. We have Imperm, Ash, Impulse, and a Magnum Hut. So even with a bad hand, we still have a lot of disruption. You have to think a bad deck will get stopped by a single hand trap and end on 0 to 1 disruption. And the worst hand from a good deck is still 4 disruption. Negate the Diablo Star. Now we still have Magnum Hut and Impulse. And then next turn we do have the follow-up with the MTP, that is. Let's search for a Tract with the Engraver. Tract, add a Lurie. Let's reborn it, at least attempt to do so. We could use Impulse onto, or just Magnum Hut since you do have a Diablo Star in the field. This is something you do want to consider potentially committing to your Fiendsmith plays before getting a body in the field to play around a Bestial. As we're now, Poplar, searching for the original Sinful, which the Impulse, I think, will negate. He could Little Knight banish the Impulse right now. No, we're not going to try it. That is a negate. And we have not yet, we did activate the Habakiri already. So from here, we're gonna have to make our final play and then deal with an MTP for the next turn. Wanted Seeker, return back the original Sinful, randomly draw into a Parelia. Now we go into our other Fiendsmith plays. Requiem is here. Requiem was possibly what I was thinking the Impulse maybe would have been used for, but we had the original Sinful, which is a really good use also. Reborn back the Engraver. If you're wondering, why am I seeing so much Fiendsmith lately? Maybe you have this idea that Fiendsmith has kind of fallen off. Well, Fiendsmith is one of the best answers to Droll and Lockbird. You're under Droll and you have 2 bodies on the field, or you already have a Tract in your hand. Now, the Engraver adding Tract and you Droll them there, that's the one instance where a Droll does hurt Fiendsmith, but otherwise, they get to pretty much full combo through a Droll. At 2,600 life, not enough for lethal damage. We have the Apollo. Burn for 1,200. If we're playing Fiendsmith in Paradise, we do not have the play. MTP for the Dormouse is the way, but this is obviously not enough. Now, the Druid Swarm is going to at least eat off a negate from the Apollo, then eat off a negate again. We need our Dormouse to go through, and it will. Because if you negate the Druid Swarm again, we could then normal Dormouse, destroy you by battle, and then make all our plays in main phase 2. I thought Lucas would lose this, but it's now looking good. How do we play around Lucas's play? What is the way? Am I crazy? What? Didn't we have, like, we win? Don't we Druid Swarm, he negates, he has to negate, right? And then you normal Dormouse at 900 versus 600, destroy it by battle, and then win in main phase 2? Am I wrong? Even at 400 life, we could still do great stuff, right? Wait, he didn't negate, he allowed the boost, he's going to negate the White Rabbit instead. And we could technically link off then banish with Druid Swarm and still make plays from there. So we still have plays. This is just a different way to do it, I guess. If we use the Druid Swarm as an extender instead. So this does still work. We had many ways around the Apollo. All right. Draw into an Airlifter. As we turn all these into a binder, we do have to be careful at 800 life. A Link is 900 life, which we obviously can't pay. A non-link Malice is 300 life to reborn back onto the field. Say goodbye to their Fiendsmith. Now, the way to gain life points is going to be the GWC. GW. Banish to reborn back. Did we forget about our life points? Like, I know it's awkward, but you, like, in a way, kind of have to reborn the binder itself. Like, you banish binder to summon binder just to gain life, just to gain 23. So now the binder is banished and can't come back. Yeah, we need to do that awkward play, I think. Red Ransom, searching our deck here into the underground, banish on the deck, 300 life. Could afford to do that one more time. Access the codes. I think we ended on nothing. But now just at lower life. Oh my gosh, that was quite insane. What the heck happened? Let's read the GWC. Some people may be under the impression that this just gains life, it's part of the effect, but there's a condition to its gaining life. And that is, you special summon a banished Malice, then it checks the field after the special summon. Do we control a link monster anywhere? That's a Malice link. You would then be able to gain life equal to the original attack of the special summon monster. So in the awkward play, it would be banish binder to summon the same binder, gain 23, and then we could do the Splash Mage play from there. Right? What do? We banish binder, summon White Rabbit. We use the decoder. It would be decoder and binder with higher life points, then Splash Mage. And then you could, even with the underground, you could banish the binder, then trigger the binder, lose 900 life. You'd have enough life to then draw and special summon. Are we all on the same wavelength of what I'm saying? I know it gained 0 because we didn't do what I said to do. It gained 0 because we summoned a White Rabbit instead. we could have known that our life was too low to summon back the binder, but we maybe thought that summoning White Rabbit would gain 1200 life. Maybe. Maybe we thought that. It's either we forgot our life was too low or we thought we would still gain life. Either or. All right, let's keep on going. Gold, Sark. In response, we are going to Fua Loss it up. Banish the deck, our door mouse, trigger the door, come forth as we imperb negate. No banish in the deck for you, mates. Now, let's mouse and underground, combo starter, and extender as we, with the banish White Rabbit, set up the GWC. Millennium is a great board breaker. It's incredible. It gets multiple bodies in the field, allows you to summon a Doom Dragon and push a monster the field back. It also gives you great OTK capability. Without even using up your normal summon, you have 7750 damage on the field. This should be good. We were able to Ash the Ransom from searching for the mirror. Now, what did this negate accomplish? Obviously, it stopped him from searching for mirror, but what could we have done with the mirror? You think that it would just negate a monster. That's not true. It would also give you the ability to non-target banish a card in the field. So that's double disruption stopped with the Ash because you would, when the Ransom comes back, banish a White Rabbit come back, and then set an MTP with the Ransom now in the field after negating a monster, non-target banish. Now instead we just have the Impermanence. And do we have a White Rabbit access to it? The GWC, in fact, still gives us access to that MTP to reborn, set MTP, and non-target banish. So it, in fact, actually did, because of GWC, did just stop the mirror, or at least the other way to get to the MTP, and we have the Max C. I'm not sure if we could play around that. This is when I would set up the MTP on the activation of the Senjin, non-target banish it, get that trash out of here. 100%, this is the play. Set it up, and then wait. Okay, activate it. Boom, you're out of here. Banish, the Senjin. And then we're gonna have to follow up with the Engraver. Or, you know, we could cope with Golem a bit. Golem into the Max freaking C. This is where Hawkeye's like, I am in big trouble. I think it's over. Well, what other choice do we have than to play into this Max C, unfortunately? Tracked, searching for the lure. I mean, this is so immensely toxic. I can't even believe that this is a freaking thing. Droll, the Mad Lad. And what Fiendsmith does, plays perfectly under Droll. So this is perfect, having more Drolls, more outs to the Fua or Max C. As we are maybe now back in this. They still have an Impermanence, obviously. Reborn back the Engraver. Let's tract, fuse with the field into our Fiendsmith Lacrima. Lacrima is going to be targeting the Engraver, reborning it back as we now make a little knight. Banish away the Impermanence, which was being saved for the sequence. Damn! Completely played around Imperm perfectly into a Rextremde. Rextremde in the sequence going into the Agnumde. Rextremde, add back an Engraver banished Fiendsmith card. Come to me, Fiendsmith Paradise. Agnumde, reborn the Rextremde. Now, what exactly is this doing? It is unaffected by card effects except Fiendsmith cards while equipped. It's not 48. It's going to get boosted even further to 6,000. It's not 6,000. It's actually 7,200. It now goes back down as we now go into a Doom Dragon, push the Ransom into the back row, then end the turn. Now, unaffected, and we have the ability to non-target send everything except the Rextremde to the graveyard, but by doing so, the Rextremde will then be affectable by card effects. So we want to be very careful when considering when to use the Paradise, and also the Paradise, the turn even when you activate it, it still has the effect to send the Desiree on their special summon to send a card from the field to the graveyard. That's double disruption. Well done. I mean, bro played through MTP, Imperm, and Max C to get to this point. Huge respect for Hawkeye. I almost wanted to look away thinking that you just lost the duel. Allure Darkness. Ban the Chessie. Is this enough to want to wipe the field to stop them from drawing two? Apparently it is. Non-target wipe the field has another freaking Chessie. Banished to draw two. We still have the effect on special summon to get sending. When do we want to get sending? And as I mentioned earlier, Rextremde is not special anymore. It is effectable. We could do whatever we want to it. Let's add back the March Hare, and I guess the inevitable is happening. Hawkeye is definitely losing this, right? Paradise, send Desiree. Desiree, send away the link decoder, as that's not really going to do much. Let's go into a binder. Binder, banish the ransom, get reborn back the Ignumde, but what is that going to accomplish? We can't even summon the Desiree. Desiree's improperly summoned, if that's what you even wanted to potentially do. That would be a pretty cool play, maybe out of YCS, as we now go into the access code talker, non-target wipe away, the Ignumde. Maybe there was an option where they would pop the Rextremde, then the Ignumde would reborn back the Rextremde, further making it unaffected by everything and but boosted. That would be a huge misplay. Lethal damage. It's game 2. Sanjin into the back row. We can impulse this. We're going to hold the impulse for something else. I'm assuming we're going to Lancia early, and if we Lancia early, we're not going to be able to get the effect of the Paradise. I mean, even the Bow. It is, if you do banish this card, we're not going to be able to banish to Reborn if we use the Lancia early. We're not going to be able to use the Baldrake. We're not going to use the Fiendsmith and Paradise to banish and send a card from the field to the graveyard. So we really just have to see, how are we going to use Lancia? Ugh, double Allure. And it seems bad to chain Lancia to an Allure. It's obviously better to use it in the draw phase because we could see their hand, but you actually have to Lancia on the Allure because they could draw into a called by. They could draw into an out for the Lancia. What? He doesn't even try. Doesn't even try. Just try. I can now respond with MTP if I want to, or we didn't. That's fine. As we're now going to further with the backup Ignister. Back up, searching for a wizard, discard the Droll. Banishing is not allowed here, as we now link all 3 into the Hard Scripter. Trigger the link decoder, reborn back into the Splash Mage, splash it up, reborn the Dormouse. It's all thanks to backup freaking Ignister. Holy moly! We got Lancia, like you're telling me if you Lancia them, they still end on 1, 2, 3, 4 forms of disruption and pretty good board presence? Uh-oh. 2 non-target banishes, a special summon negate, a monster negate, non-target banishing the Senjin on the field, wipe it, triple disruption left. Now, the Crimson Tear on summon, send the Engraver here. March Hare is going to be banishing the MTP to return back into the deck to non-target banish away the Crimson Tear before it goes into the Requiem. The Engraver is useless. We don't have another Light Fiend to reborn it back. Typhon, Plan L is here, which we could negate it if we want to with the Mirror, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Not only negate, but give us a follow-up play, mates. By banishing the Red Ransom, we'll further banish in the deck. And the Red Ransom also on special summon will be able to search the deck. For some reason, it doesn't say on link summon. I think they accidentally, it's like a misprint errata. Let's grab the March Hare. Come to us, Maliss and Underground here for the next turn. Cryptor is going to be very easily summonable next turn. You could even Underground, banish. Banish the Mirror. Mirror can then banish the Cryptor. Oh my Jesus. Paradise is completely dead. We just have Baldrake. Or exactly what I said. Banish the Mirror, banish the Cryptor. Cryptor come back, search for your deck. Oh, we Lancia'd them. We freaking Lancia'd them. Why did this happen? Lancia was supposed to completely end their turn. Typhon gone. Everything's gone. Baldrake's gonna be pretty much useless. Baldrake on the attack. Impulse, negate. And just like that, we are scooping it up. 2-1. Game 3, Lancia, and still plowed right through it. There's two ways Maliss is greatly benefiting in this current meta of course, Lancia not being used, and one of them is Lancia not being used. The second is people are playing Duel, and Maliss can play immensely, very effectively through a Duel Mockbird, similarly to Fiendsmith. We offer up the Max C, we use it in the window where we want to use Duel. I talked about this earlier in the tournament, the nuance of this play, to ensure we get the most out of both cards. Eat their finger and hit them with the Duel. But as I said, we could play through Duel. Non-target banish, banish cards from the graveyard, negate and banish anything. About 4 forms of solid disruption. We're gonna negate and banish the normal summon. Just like that, get it out of here. And then we're gonna follow up with a great play. The pre-preparation, grab a mirror and any ritual we want. That any ritual is gonna be our Habakiri. We have 2 non-target banishes and the ability to banish cards from the graveyard. Let Saji add the Mitsurugi ritual. Come forth, ritual. We are ready with the Cryptor to non-target banish. And we can discard the wizard in response to the Mirakuma forcing us to activate, to not get negated. Now, unfortunately, the Cryptor's not pointing to something, so we do have to actually discard if he were to activate. Get ready for the field wiped, which is not a big deal. Non-target banish, wipe the field. We could still non-target banish the MTP. That's still an available play. By banishing the white binder, oh my gosh, if we had an Ash Blossom here, we would have a chance to win. But with no Ash, the binder is gonna draw, turn on the MTP, and banish a bunch of cards here. Let's reborn them back. Ransom and Cryptor obviously adding to the board presence, but even giving us follow-up with the red Ransom. Oh my Jesus. Cryptor is here. We are going to now be using the mirror to summon the Futsu, tributing off the Habakiri. Habakiri triggering to add from the deck the Kusanagi. Kusanagi, if someone wants the field through the prayers, which we may be doing, we'll be able to add a card back from Engraver Banishment. That's exactly what we're doing. Come to me back the ritual, and we're now going to MTP non-target banish. What? You timed out. Holy shite. That was your duel to win. Troll, Ash, Fua. We got to play it through. White Rabbits at the GW. We're going to Fua on the resolution. Ash, negate. Now let's further link decoder. With that, backup is going to special summon Max freaking C. Did I even mention C? I guess I'm blind. I talked about Ash, Droll, Fua, not the Max freaking C, as the backup's going to be searching for the March Hare. Not even committing to a Ransom, which, you know, unfortunately, we did use up our... Did we even use up our normal summon here? We did. We normal summoned the White Rabbit. If we could have normal summoned the March Hare, I think a Ransom would have been good. Otherwise, damn, you know, we'd have to give them 2 draws for a Ransom to give us 2 disruption, the Mirror and the MTP. And now we just have Imperm. It being a pure deck, though, the power ceiling, their ability to OTK, I think is way down. So on the fact that we know what we're playing against is why I think it's okay to not go too deep into forcing out additional disruptions. Let's Habakiri onto the field. Let's trigger our Engrave, Sword Serpent, our Masa, search for the Kusanagi. Using up our normal summon here, add back the ritual. Tornado Dragon. You have room for that because you're a pure deck. Let's wipe away the back row, forcing out an early impermanence. Imperm, negate the Habakiri, reducing the attack of my Link Decoder. I don't think so. We're back to 300. Ritual off, come forth into the Murakumo. Murakumo is choosing to wipe the field. Wipe it up, prayers to the hand, reborn back. We have 7,700 damage. Let's banish the White Rabbits within the main phase. Well, you actually cannot summon it since you have no cards in hand. Negate. And from here, Wipe out. We do have the GWC follow-up. Reborn the White Rabbits. Set an MTP. Zeus? Okay. Freaking wipe the... And now we don't have the play. What the heck was that? That is wild. Oh my gosh. We got blown the F out. We should have end of the battle phase. If we knew that this was a possibility, end of the battle phase, summon the White Rabbit set MTP, and then he can't really Zeus. If he were to Zeus the field, we would MTP search for a Dormouse for next turn, right? He'd have to Zeus the Dormouse. And then maybe, knowing that we have a Dormouse and holding onto the Zeus, we could maybe make additional plays. This came out of freaking nowhere. Surprise Zeus is winning this duel. Chessie off the top. Oh my gosh. Reborn the Murakumo. Whatever it is, you don't have a card to discard to activate its effect. That is gonna 2-0 against Maliss. Let's go. No Lancia needed. Are you ready? Begin. Top 4, that is. This will be interesting. Maybe we could try to finger the binder or the White Rabbit. That is a possibility. GWC is going to make it a bit more difficult. If we like really wanted to finger them, we could try to do it in the draw phase so that the March Hare wouldn't be able to dodge it. The first finger would be met with a GWC, then the second finger would go through, and then they'd be forced to maybe Ignister negate it, right? So you force out kind of like 2 plays from them and then maybe go from there. Habakiri gets negated by Apollo. Ritual gets negated by Impulse. Like, we're still checkmated. Oh my Jesus. We drew into a non-play. Wow. How nice of you, Drex, to not use Apollo. Call with the Grave, attempt to finger the sea. Drex wants a real duel. I appreciate that. And we know that Ash can just negate the Saji, and so can the Apollo. So it's like, why not just max C them? Draw 1 and still negate it with the finger, an Ash, or an Apollo. It just really doesn't matter. So this, in fact, was just the better play. You definitely should max C instead of negate. And then from here, Ritual. Now, if we only had called by, I would say it's risky, but you know, we have an Ash, obviously, if we were to Ash it instead. But if we did have finger, we could chain prayers to dodge the finger. Let's hop into game 2. Ritual is dead unless the Aramasa goes through. And it does. If we imperm this, we didn't know. I mean, I don't think imperm is a good use on the Aramasa, but it actually was here. Droll in Lockbird, finger the Droll. And now we could play on through it. With the Apollo, we are looking at 3 monster negates plus negate anything. Quadra Disruption. I don't want you to banish the Kusanagi. Kusanagi needs to be in the graveyard so we could still have the ability to add back the Murakumo. Had this been banished, the Murakumo would be gone for good, but there is a small chance, or maybe a good chance, that they are playing more than 1 Murakumo. I'd have to check pure Mitsurugi. Let's see. Kumo in pure is a 58% chance it is played at 2. We're going to Purification. Negate the Drewstorm. We're going to be fingering the Futso so it does not activate to Reborn back and search the deck. Interesting. Well done, I'd say. And the Purification effect of Reborning from Engrave is not activatable until next turn. Mirror's going to return back into the deck here. Normal summon the backup. We just have 2 monster negates and a max C. That's it. Murakumo banished. I mean, I told you all in my Mitsurugi video, Bestials are for a good consideration to help deal with Mitsurugi in addition to Droll. Dormouse, Droll on Lockbird. Well, I mean, we're going to Dormouse, negates, say goodbye, mates. End the turn. What do we have? It looks like we have nothing. This is a once per duel effect, but we do have something activatable in Grave, and it's because of the Purification. It has the effect of not being activatable, actually. Banish this card from your graveyard to reborn a reptile, and if you do, tribute one other monster you control. We have to draw into a hand trap. We have to draw into anything. If we don't have another monster, this doesn't work like Habakiri summon, then tribute that monster. No, no, no. You need another monster. So at the moment, we are screwed unless we rip it. Ripped into an Aramasa. Well done. You did it. Cinema. He can now pop off from there. Purification, Reborn the Saji, tribute off the Aramasa is required. You would not be able to reborn the Saji at all. Grab the prayers. Prayers is going to tribute Habakiri. Grab the Aramasa. We're going to be reborn back the Kusanagi. Kusanagi is going to add back the banished Murakumo. Yeah, I scooped it to a top deck. Purification was dead. And to be fair, I mean, if we literally could have just normal summoned a Droll Knockbird, a Max C. You know how you're misplaying? You're not drawing hand traps. What is wrong with you? What the heck is this? A brick, double brick, a normal summon Aramasa. What the hell? This just further protects your Maxi, ensuring it goes through. We have a ton of disruption. Let's just see what happens. Pre-prep getting negated by the Ash. Can still return. I mean, this is already activated, right? This wasn't a newly summoned Firewall Dragon. We have Imperm negate. On top of that, another Imperm. On top of that, a Bestial. We have not Maxied yet. We can banish cards from the graveyard. We can non-target banish twice. We can negate anything with the Ignister. We can negate these two monster effects with the Apollo. Goodbye, Murakumo. And from the way Yusuf was playing on the previous duels, it looks like he only plays one Murakumo. It's close to 50-50 on whether they play one or two. Saji triggering, Apollo negating, and you have to remember, in Maliss, the field spell says you can't attack into Apollo. Exciton Knight would be great if we didn't have multiple ways to negate. Imperm, negate. It can only use its effect once per chain, but is activatable more than once per turn. But now, on a new chain, it's not activatable. GW. Now, what would be very cool is activate Exciton, chain Book of Moon, flip it down, wipe the field. Cryptor come back. Non-target banish. We still have our Omni freaking negate. Detach. We don't have a Book of Moon play. And damn. Maliss to the grand finale. But who is he playing against? We still have the other top four. Let's go. 5 hand traps. No backup soldier. No backup Ignister, that is. Okay. We have Airlifter on summon, searching our deck for the emergency, searching for the tract. We are activating the tract. Notice how we're not using Droll. No Droll. Let's reborn the Lurie. Now we want to hit them with a Max C because we're desperate. We can't afford to shut down their turn with Droll. Chain emergency. Not chaining Ash. Hold it. Send the Airlifter. Reborn the Lurie. Drawn to the called by. Hydrant is going to be searching. We're not going to imperm. We need to try to stop the turbulence. Now, if he sets up a Little Knight is going to dodge the activation. We're not Little Knighting, so we get to safely use the impermanence without fear of it going away. Negate the Turbulence Mate. We finally have a play with Dormouse for next turn. Let's further go into the Requiem, which we can now Ash. Look at all these hand traps. Oh my Jesus. Not ashing the Summon of the Engraver. And remember what I said at the start of the event today? A lot of you are making the mistake of not playing enough non-engine. Victinium is filled to the brim with non-engine. Now, while it looks bad in this duel, it's a big part on why Victinium is doing so well in today's event. Impulse off the top of the Okay, yeah, he had 10 non-engine in his hand, and he wasn't able to do much with it, unfortunately. Let's hop into game 2. Let's go. Alert up. Come to us. Let's banish away the Chessie. Oh, he's got no hand trap. We got nothing. Lifter can, in response, summon a monster from the deck, which is not going to be a form of disruption. So let's just speed this up. Banish in the grave, banish on field again, negate anything, negate a monster effect, negate a monster effect, negate a monster effect again, and draw on Lockbird. Lots of disruption. We're going to MTP non-target banish the Senjin in response to it trying to summon from the back row. No summon, no search. It's all part of the same effect. As we now use the track for the follow-up. Are we going to hit them with the Droll since we no longer need the MTP? Lurie is going to be negated by the Apollo, and we're also going to add the Drone Lockbird. Will we get fingered? Finger onto the Drone Lockbird. Yes, we will. We're not able to dodge it. Now, this could be another benefit of having a Firewall Dragon on the field. With a very powerful hand trap, Maxi, Drone Lockbird, you could Firewall, target your own hand trap, and return it back to your hand, dodging the finger. Let's follow up with the Airlifter. Apollo is going to negate. Let's follow up with the Rescue Mate. I'm going to target. This is weird. We're getting the benefit of controlling a Rescue Ace freaking Hydrant because it's a back row spell. What the? If you target the Graveyard instead if you control a Rescue Ace Hydrant. Interesting. This has happened before with Snake Eye pushing it in the back, but it's still a funny interaction. Banish and negate the activation of the Rescue Mate. GWC, Reborn, the White Binder. White Binder, banish from either player's graveyard. Cryptor come back, Red Ransom come back, banish from the deck, summon, search our deck even. Well, we have no other searches. We already have the Mirror and the Underground. And let's conclude up this duel with over 12,000 damage on the field. Lethal. Let's go to game 3. Stupidly consistent, even with the hits. And when it bricks, it still has like 5 non-engine. Starting off with play number 1, Wedju Temple. Putting the Pirelli on the Senjin. We're going to normal summon the Airlifter. Play number 2. Imperm onto play 2. We also have play number 3 being our Fiendsmith Engraver, which we potentially have Ash for. Let's now Senjin. Nope. We're going to Ash the Senjin, and just like that, 2 plays, 2 negates, but then the 3rd freaking play Engraver is going to go through. We don't even... That's so crazy that you don't even need the Engraver. Just off of what we currently had in your 2 hand traps, we could still go into the Fiendsmith plays. Turbulence will set up to 4 back row cards, giving us an additional 3 more disruptions. That's a total of 7. 7 disruption as we end our turn. I don't think we're playing some Fiendsmith in Paradise nonsense. We don't have the Requiem anyway. We could flip, we could destroy, we could negate, and then we could Quadra Monster negate. In addition to that mate, we set the MTP in case we would randomly draw into a mouse, then banish it and summon it. We are now going to have to get rid of the backup Ignister, and wow! What the hell? Damn, that sucked. Oh boy. It's not that we misplayed. We couldn't... I mean, obviously we have a play with the Ash or a hand trap I think we had, and special summon the backup Ignister. But dude's got 7 disruption. That's not good enough. We had to dig... We made the correct play. We had to do that. Well, if you're going to play a 60-card deck with 5 different decks in one, you are going to have to inevitably have the downside of not opening up hand traps when going second. Let's speed this up. Oh my Jesus. what do we even say here? We have 2 monster negate and banish anything. We could banish multiple cards from the graveyard. We could non-target banish a card in the field, not once, but twice. We could finger a card in the graveyard. We could draw and lockbird them. We could magnum hunt. We could Druid Swarm if you want to count those as forms of disruption. They are playing with Fiendsmith cards, so that could be quite effective. Also Mitsurugi. So that'd be a total of 10 forms of disrupt. 10. Let's go. Can't draw the Wanted Secret in the draw phase, playing around that effectively as the Poplar is going to get negated, but not banished and negated by the Allied Code Talker Gnister. Let's further link off the Poplar into the Anima, which will eat up the final negate of the Apollo mate. Or the Apollo is just going to negate the Poplar instead, allowing the Anima to suck her up, down to 8 disruption. Good suck, come to me as we now Senjin. Senjin would have been negated from the hand in response to the Apollo would be the response, that is. We're gonna cross out, designate, negate the Max C. What are you trying to do, mate? I want to special summon a bunch of times during your turn, which I will be doing. Not today, still on 8. Let's trigger the White Rabbit, come back, set up the MTP. We are ready to non-target banish the Senjin. We consistently get this setup going. Senjin for 2,000 life. We're gonna banish with the MTP to non-target banish the Senjin. Grab a March Hare. We're now down to 7 disruption. Ovi is not allowed to surrender. He's gotta play it fully out. Let's grab back the Chessie on banish, send the Airlifter to special the Diablo Star. Set into the back row, nothing, as we not only get negated, but also banished. 6 disrupt left. We could still Cryptor, we could banish in the graveyard like 3 separate times. We're gonna summon the Saji with the Habakiri. Saji attempt to search for nothing as the called by negates. OV just end. You know, I guess everything's out in the open. Battle. That's allowed. That's okay. All right. Sure. Yep. Okay. Finish him. Drex. Let's be cool. You know what's in the hand. Thank you. Very cool. Game 2. All right. You're pretty good going first when I don't have a Lancia, Maxi, or a Fua. Fine. And mind you, Droll's not very effective against Maliss, which they're greatly benefiting from everyone playing Droll now. Bonfire, grabbing the Poplar trigger, come forth. We have 3 non-engine. This is a way to win going second if I've ever seen so. And what was I saying? What are the main outs to stop a 60 card, fill to the brim, full gas, all engine deck? Well, Max C or Fualos. Maybe even Droll to try to stop them preemptively, but they have a lot of engines that play through Droll. Now, because we're a 60 card deck, all we have is a Nibiru, and I would say you're even lucky to at least have that Nibiru. Oh boy. Well, a well-timed Nibiru is gonna have to be our main play. They're gonna want to Nibiru check. Always think if your deck has the capability to check for Nibiru, where you're gonna do something, whether you're setting up a negate for Nibiru or such an advantageous play that they have to Nibiru before you do it, and then you ideally want to have a follow-up play. And that's exactly what we're gonna have. This is, you have to. We're checking Nibiru here. If you don't Nibiru, we'll negate Nibiru, and we have the follow-up. So it's the perfect situation. Check it and play through it. Check, wipe the field, and then play through it with our inherent playing. Broken. Now, if Konami could freaking ban the Apollo, we lose the Nibiru check. We no longer check Nibiru. So there's so much more to just banning the Apollo to make this more balanced. Just banning Apollo across the board will super boost up Nibiru. Banish, come forth, Red Ransom, banish on the deck. Now, you could call this risky. Banishing a mirror when they could have an Ash Blossom, that could have blown us out. Well, but we had a called by to play through it. So if we didn't have called by, maybe we would have not played into an Ash. Let's, with the Hard Scriptor, wipe away the Nibiru. 2,900 to the face. Non-target banish for game. Just like that. We don't even have to banish. We don't want to banish. come back onto the field. Hard Scripter at a whopping 5,600 attack. Lethal damage, 2-0 victory. Top breakdown. Maliss is freaking back. What the heck? Why are you fools not playing Lancia? Now, how many of these we have to count up the amount of Mitsurugis because this is a bit deceptive. It's agents, then parentheses, Mits, rescue ace, Mits. There's a lot of Mitsurugi. There's still more Mitsurugi than Maliss. And let's count up the exact amount, all right? Let's just get this out of the way because there's a lot of fools that are just gonna be like, oh, see, what the heck? It was just 1 week. So let's type in Mitsurugi and just count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 Mitsurugi, and 2 of them were Ryziel Mitsurugi. 7 and 2. All right, and let's look at Lancia. How many people played Lancia at 3? We'll take off this filter. Let's make sure this is set up good. Okay, we have the 32 decks here, and we want to do Lancia Star 3. 1? Only 1 person in the entire top 16 played 3 Lancia, and then Maliss got the most spots as an individual deck within the top 16. What about 2 Lancia? None. What about 1 Lancia? None. Just last week. So only 1 player played Lancia, and they played it at 3. In the last 2 weeks, so 2 meta weeklies in a row. The last meta weekly, 1 person played Lancia, and Maliss players saw this. They're like, woo! 1 player, 1 Lancia. I'm playing Maliss next week. And then next week, only 1 player again playing Lancia, but they were playing 3. And, you know, that's how things happen. There you go. Well, let's check out the decks real quick. Snake Eye Fire King. No Mitsurugi. All right. Good job to you, Kawaki. Happy that you did well with this. You know, playing your super rogue non-meta deck. Let's see what else we have. We have Fiendsmith Control with the freaking Santa Claus. Neo Hawkeye. Can we put Mitsurugi into our Fiendsmith Control or what? And then I guess it's not a Fiendsmith Control, it's then a Mitsurugi deck. Neo Hawkeye. Agents. Mario's Bell. Let me just bring up your profile here. Can we see the D? We see the D. We see it. We see it. I guess I'll just, yeah, this is fine. Ooh, okay. Got the Bootin, we got the Ava with the Brilliant Fusion, Archlord Christia, need a player can special summon. I gotta copy this. This is something. We actually made some cool plays. The summoning a bunch of balls on the field is pretty cool. Floodgating, always very cool, especially when the floodgate is exclusive to your deck. Good job. And what else we have here? We have Mitsurugi Orchest. I'm so happy to see Orchest this week. I was so disappointed last week. I knew that it was going to take some time because the Mermaid being unbanned is exclusive to Master Duel. Now, what can I say about your deck? Your deck, we got the Kusanagi Aramasa version of Mitsurugi, triple harp, triple Gursu, 1 symbol, of course. This is looking super standard. Standard, well built, very nice. And then let's look at the other player. Yurievna, 60 freaking cards. What the heck? Is this even right to call you an Orcus Mitsurugi deck? Where the heck do we place you? We need just 60 card slop to be a deck type. Let's see this in a better view. Wait, Yurievna, it's not showing on your profile for some reason. We'll fix that. So, good job to you. Anything to say? We got Brain to Regain, Chaos Spaces, freaking super heavy Samurai. Well done. Herald of the Orange Light in here. And then there's the extra deck. I gotta try this out. I see 60 card decks is just fun. And then we have Pure Mitsurugi. Yusuf with the Pure Way Triple Aramasa. We have, this is looking quite standard. Aramasa at 3, is that standard? Mitsurugi, it's mostly played at 2. So, you know, 15% at 3, sure. And what else is good? All right, well done to you, keeping it pure. You get to use the Impulse. And then Ricky, Ricky is on 2. We got the Wuso. Wuso really good for tributing off a detonator. Good job, Ricky. And now let's look at Raziel Mitsurugi. Why the heck was this not the most played today? What are you mad lads doing? Are you all really getting that hurt over Droll? Because you gotta think about this. If everyone's playing Droll, and you're playing 2 engines that both, in a way, lose to Droll, then maybe that's not so good of an idea. Interesting situation. While this is I guess I would say if Droll didn't exist, this is straight up a tier 0 deck. But if everyone is Drolling, then I don't know where it's at. I would say it's still tier 1, but damn, that's crazy. I think the Droll impact is really hurting how well this deck's doing in the events. A lot of people playing Fiendsmith to help play through Droll. We could see Orcus even making plays through Droll. Good job, Gargolo. Who knew that skipping someone's turn is a good thing to do in Yu-Gi-Oh? And then we have Rescue Ace. Oh, you want to Droll me? Okay, I'm going to set 4 cards with Turbulence. Are you good with that? I would think that is the idea. We have a ton of engines. Ovi Diug with the 5-engine deck. Good job to Ovi. I definitely want to play this. And then here is the extra deck. And then Sam with not playing Mitsurugi. We have Rai, Zeal, Rescue Ace, and Fiendsmith. And then here is the extra deck. I gotta say, in total, the engines are quite diverse. We have Snake Eye, Fire King, Millennium, Mitsurugi, Fiendsmith, Agents, Raziel, Orcus, Maliss. That's in total a ton of different. It's not just Maliss and Raziel, right? That's what it was before. They weren't even really using other engines. It was just pure Maliss, pure Raziel. Now the engines are all over the place. I also, did I say Snake Eye? I guess Fire King also, in addition to those engines. If someone wants to count up the true count of how many engines in total this Meta Weekly was, it's a lot of them. And now let's look at the Maliss players. Bori, triple allure. How dare you allow Maliss players to play 3 of this? They can't play this if you play Lancia. And I'm sorry, I don't have a good solution. Yeah, it's really stupid. You got to play Droll, but then now like you kind of have to play Lancia, but you can't play Lancia. I don't want to repeat myself a million times. All right, good job, Bori. We have Allure Hakimos, still, you know, making sure to side with caution here, not going all in on Allure. Some people are playing Lancia, or maybe next week more people are going to play Lancia. We're going to have this weird back and forth of no Lancia in the weekly, and then everyone dominates with Maliss, and the next week there's going to be a ton of Lancia. We then have Lucas on double Allure, pure Maliss. We are also Fictinium, top 4. How much non-engine is Fictinium on? 3, 5, 8, 10... 10, 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, in a way, I call the allure 15, 16, 17, 17, 20, 23 non-engine if we're including the allures and the called buys. That is nuts. More than half the deck. And then triple allure first place again. You are letting them get away with playing Allure. This wasn't they were not playing Allure before because Lancia. So it's a nice extra boost to the deck, which if Konami sees this toxic dichotomy of having to play Lancia, not play Lancia, and then they're playing Allure, not playing Allure, they may just hit Allure Darkness. It is limited to 1 in OCG. Okay. Good job. Drex winning it all, and there you go. That's the meta. You have to play Droll, you have to play Lancia, and if you don't play one, then Raziel, Mitsurugi will dominate. If you don't play Lancia, then Maliss will dominate, and we just go over and over between all those cards that you have to play. So good job to everyone in the event. I'll see you next week, and again, at least we had a diverse amount of engines within the event today. So thank you for the support. Let's go.